Now, I believe that at some point in everyone's manga and anime journey, they've undoubtedly come across the shonen genre. Now, whether you love it or hate it, I think it's undeniable the impact that this genre has had upon the medium of anime and manga as a whole. For me, it was very gateway-ish in a way because it was the first genre that I've come across. And to me, the shonen genre is very much like a gateway anime. Kind of like a lot of people get into it because it's such a popular genre. I believe it's probably the most popular genre of anime and manga in the world. Like I said earlier, whether you hate it or love it, you undoubtedly know what it is. And if you don't, you probably do know what it is. You just don't know what the term for it is. So shonen would be stuff like typically aimed at a younger male audience, something like Naruto, Dragon Ball Z. And specifically in today's video, I'm going to be talking more along the lines of battle shonen. Although I do love every shonen, but battle shonen hold a very special place in my heart. Because one of the animes that I hold the most dear is Naruto. And that's kind of my gateway into the anime sphere. Now, I've seen it back in the day, like on Cartoon Network, Toonami, and all that. And I seen Naruto move through networks, and it was pretty cool to see Naruto, become mainstream and be televised. It was even on Disney XD for a while, as far as the Shippuden series goes. And I just think that it's really cool that the shonen genre brought anime and manga to the mainstream. Now, I know there's a select group of people who don't want manga and anime to become mainstream, but I believe that it's very important that they move toward that direction because mainstream things make a lot more money. And when things make more money, the quality typically improves. Now, this isn't always the case, as we see sometimes that some forms of media are made specifically for the purpose of cash grabbing, which means they just want to get the most money possible without any regards to the actual art of the product that they're providing. But I digress on that point. For me, battle shonen are very entertaining because for a male like myself, it's very interesting to see people train and come of age and develop and learn. So for a story like Black Clover, I think it's very inspiring the way that Asta was born in a civilization where magic was the end-all be-all, and he overcame and was able to do things that people thought he wouldn't be able to do. To me, that's very inspiring to see that these characters are put in some unfavorable positions and they manage to surpass the circumstances that they were put in. Through long-running battle shonen, we're able to see characters progress in age as we do. When Naruto first started, I was a small kid, and by the time it was ended, I was a young adult. I think that that's one of the very niche things about the genre is because unlike some shows that don't progress and they just kind of stay episodic for the most part, battle shonen tend to have a narrative and a long-running narrative. Look at something like One Piece, and it's still continuing after all these years. One Piece, the story is older than some people have even been alive. Literally, the story is so old, it's like ridiculous how old that story is, and it's gonna keep continuing to grow. And we see Luffy grow alongside. Luffy ages alongside the people who have been following the story for years. And that's not something you typically see with a lot of shows, because a lot of shows have 1 or 2 seasons if they're lucky. But these battle shonens keep continuing and continuing, and they have a long story. It's something you look forward to. You wake up on a Saturday morning and you get to watch your favorite shonen or your favorite show in general just continuing to play for a prolonged period of time. I think that's something very special about that, when you can have something to look forward to, because sometimes life can be rough. We're not denying that. And when you have something to look forward to every single week, or even if it's not a weekly shonen, most of the time the shonen do have weekly chapters, even if they don't have weekly episodes, because some anime take the seasonal route where they come out with seasons, and some anime take the weekly route where they come out with weekly episodes. And I think that's pretty cool. I don't think a lot of media actually do that. Now, of course, there's always going to be an exception to the rule, but typically anime release in seasons. I think we all can agree upon that. But battle shonen transcend that, and they release weekly. A lot of the times, the mangaka who come up with these stories also come up with a very in-depth world. So it's not just the characters who are very in-depth, but also the world. So it's like you're traveling through the world with these characters and you're discovering the world as these characters go along. It's pretty much like you're on an adventure with these characters. You're learning more about the lore and the backstory and the history of these well fleshed out worlds that otherwise wouldn't be possible without the long format of a lot of shonen, because there's only so much you can do with a couple chapters or a couple episodes. But when an anime can be long running for hundreds of episodes, it can continue to develop into something enormous. If it weren't for popular shonen like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, a lot of people wouldn't have gotten into anime. Because of these shonen anime I've explored and I've figured out all of these other genres of anime, these isekai, these moe. If it weren't for the popular shonen that I grew up with, I wouldn't have even heard of these other anime, because it was these shonen anime that captured my attention and sucked me into the world of anime and manga. And there's a vast majority of people who also got into anime and manga because of the same thing. Because I don't know about you guys, but I feel like everyone knows about Dragon Ball Z, whether they like anime or not. And I think that's the first step into making anime a main part of our culture. And when I say a main part of our culture, I'm not saying that to take away from the fact that we have this precious community of anime and manga fans already, but I'm just saying mainstream in the sense that it's normalized, because I do know some people who don't accept anime and they think it's weird. So it would be better if it's normalized so no one gets bullied or picked on because of the things that they enjoy. And shonen tend to not get as criticized as other niche genres of anime and manga. Now, with that being said, I think I have talked about everything that I wanted to talk about today. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video, and if you did, please leave me a thumbs up and maybe even subscribe to the channel. It's been your boy NeoXO, and I'm out.